Good thing Grady was there.
Okay. Okay. All right, welcome. If you can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Grady missed the button with
We have no request to speak at open forum, so we're going to go right to our superintendent's report.
Sure, thanks. I just want to thank you all very much for coming in early to do the facilities walkthrough. I think it's something that we get to take a step back and just reflect and pause and just appreciate the facilities we have, right? Especially being a rural upstate school, the size of our school and some of our facilities. So thank you very much for the walkthrough. And just, I can't say enough thanks about the teams of people that we had set up to be able to help during the pre-construction piece of this and our planning, even during construction, right? We had a fitness center team, we had a playground team, we had an outdoor instructional space team made up of school representatives, right? And, our transportation team, the decision wasn't made, right, without that team, right? That's how they use the space, right? They had valuable input in the design and even during construction, right? Just having really good input and feedback on that. And I think, Mr. Miller, you had mentioned, right, just the facilities look great, right? And just the attention to detail on some of those things. And I think that's when you involve the right people at the right time in planning, right, and execution of that it really makes a world of difference with things that might have gotten forgotten in other aspects of it, right? So I just, a huge thank you, especially to Mr. Stillman and Mrs. Warner and Mr. Stena and the entire admin team, and again, all of the different teams that were set up. It was just a really good process, and I think the outcome, you saw the facilities, right, are just remarkable. So just, I wanted to start off with that. That was a tremendous amount of work. And two, just to kind of pause for a minute, when we're talking about being fiscally responsible, we really, I think, did a good job as a district leveraging different funding sources for this. Whether it would be the CRISA funds, where we'll go back when we did the junior senior high school air conditioning project, whether it would be the pod project, which was the AC unit events in the elementary, right? That was the ARP ESSER 3 funds. And then being able to use the capital project money from the last project as a phase 2, there was $2.5 million left over that, which allowed us for the tennis courts and the playground. So really being able to be smart with those funds, not having any taxpayer increase, right, when it comes to these, and being able to pull off facilities like this. So again, this was, conversations I know with Anna and Amanda and Carrie 2.5 years ago, just when designing or planning the tennis courts, right? Just out of the wind having conversations. So just a lot of preparation, a lot of the right people in the right room, good teamwork with Highland Associates, our architects, right? Challenging our thought processes and what we can do. CNS companies, the construction management firm, just great with ideas and management. And then our municipal advisors, fiscal advisors out of Syracuse, right, helping to guide and coach us on how to best utilize money in different pots of money. So I know that I'm proud of that whole project, or again, there was 5 projects going on at one time, right, different funding sources. And I know Amy, when she came on board, I said, Amy, this is going to be a nightmare, right? I mean, this looked really good when we drew this up 2.5 years ago. I mean, it's complex. There's no doubt about it, right? I mean, talking to fiscal advisors, we've never seen 5 different funding sources to be able to put together projects like this. And it's like, great, let's be the first, right? And Amy's done a brilliant job of managing that too. So just really good process with this. And at this time, I'll switch over to the capital project presentation and go through. I know we just did a walkthrough, but I shared this with you. I think it's important to just go through just quickly with some of these photos. Again, our playground process, as I mentioned when we were on our walkthrough, is the playground will be open to the community right now, as I sent a message out last Sunday night with regards to being closed for final resurfacing of the basketball court. That will be completed on Thursday, and then it needs a 48-hour curing time for the top coat. So it'll open back up on Monday, right, to the community and to the school. In the post we put in there that's going to be open Monday through Friday from 5 o'clock after the after-school program until dusk, and then on Saturdays and Sundays from dawn until dusk. Accessing the playground from the elementary parking lot area down the sidewalk, we extended the sidewalk to give access through that gate there. So we're excited about that piece. Some of our outdoor classrooms is, again, as we were walking on the tour, there are 2 main pavilions, what we're going to call the high school pavilion, which is right outside the gymnasium, and our elementary pavilion, which is what we'll call up on the upper parking lot. Both of them designed the same, and as you saw, they were beautiful, right? They're very well done. They're not quite completed yet, with some of the wiring that needs to be put in, speakers, and then some of just the finished work with them, but beautiful outdoor areas. I was asking the administrators earlier to the admin meeting, right, just to reflect for 30 seconds and think about what you're most proud of, for the first 4 days of school. And it came up on a couple different occasions, just the new facilities and how the new facilities are already being used and appreciated, right? I use those words of Mr. Wood and Mr. Standa. And it's nice to see classrooms out there already. It's nice to see kids out there. It's nice to see kids in the outdoor cafeteria area. So just really nice to see already. You see the picture of the amphitheater and what we're going to call the amphitheater pavilion, as we've talked about, and kind of showed, again, a magnificent area. Just nice outdoor areas to be able to take classes out. Again, just the outdoor pavilion or the high school pavilion, as you can see. The outdoor cafeteria, again, that was designed after replacing the 20,000 gallon fuel tank. And again, that hole, as you look at it right there, that doesn't quite do it justice with how large that tank was coming out. When they picked up an excavator with another excavator and set the excavator down in the hole, you couldn't see that excavator. That tells you how deep that hole was. I was like, that's impressive. But again, a lot of work for that. And just, again, trying to maximize those outdoor areas. Our weight room, if you haven't seen it, it is remarkable. And just, again, attention to the detail, Mr. Miller, as you were talking about, on some of the rebranding opportunities that we had, and it really came out great. Gymnasium floor, right, refurbished. And our transportation center, right, with the new painting and the additional parking lot, again, really came out great. Our pool, as we had mentioned, as you can see, like the before and the after, and that we didn't play around with the lighting on the camera, right? That is true clean pool, and just a refurbished pool. So, and again, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for your support, right? I mean, this project is I use the word vulnerability a lot, right? You got to be a little bit vulnerable, right? School districts don't build outdoor classrooms and outdoor pavilions and amphitheaters and playgrounds like that. And I just appreciate your support in the design of that project and following through that project. It's again, I think it's great for our kids. I think it's great for our staff. I think it's great for our community.
And I would say, you guys did a great job of, one thing I noticed on the walkthrough, and I told you, is how heavy duty everything appeared. Everything really looked like it was built to last. And, leveraging 5 different grant programs to do it, they're not always going to be available. So seizing those and making use of them when they're available, coming out of this, and doing all of these projects and really building them to last so that, we can do it once type deal. It's you guys did a great job on that. It was great to leverage all those programs.
Thank you. As long as civil engineer
Looks good.
Tom signed off, we're good.
Yeah. You go do a
Thanks,
load
Dave, for
test on some of those things.
just a couple other things is we opened school last week with 2 staff development days that I thought were great. Carrie, thank you very much for attending the first day and just welcoming our staff back. I think it was a great opening day, opening couple days, just getting acclimated. We just finished our 4th day with school and with kids back. And again, this is my 16th year at the Sidney Central School District, and I say it's one of the best that I've ever been a part of. Positive, welcoming, exciting. I use the words of Mrs. Johnson when we were during our admin meeting. Feels the most normal, right, since the pandemic, which I think was a powerful statement when you're talking about returning to school and just being positive. Kids were excited to be back, staff excited to be back, and just it's nice to feel that energy. So I want to thank a lot of people for doing all of the work that they did all summer long to turn this place around. Because remember, there's summer camps here for 4 weeks. They didn't leave until the first week of August, right? And then you're turning around, really turning the elementary school upside down, right? And cleaning it and getting it ready. And, I'll use the words of Miss McNamara that said, when the bell rings, right, things were done, right? And there's so many great teams behind the scenes, right, that make sure kids have schedules from school counselors to the buildings are cleaned, from the custodians to our transportation staff calling all of our kids and introducing themselves and what time they'd be picked up and dropped off. And it's just those attention to details, Mr. Willie, you mentioned it a couple of times. And I think it's remarkable. I think it's a great team. I think it's just an important piece to highlight the work that goes in behind the scenes to make that happen, because it's an awesome group of people that work here. So just super proud of that. Just a couple other things too is fall sports well under the way. I know many of you know we're about 240 student athletes, which is more than what we have had in the past for our fall season. So I think that shows too, just about the opening of school, the participation, right? And I think it's just a good sign. Our after school program, we were able to open that up on the first day, about 160 kids in the after school program. And we know that that's an important piece to the Sidney Central School District too, for families. Just a couple other things is we are working to plan, if you remember, I haven't talked a little bit about in the last few months, is the electrification transition, right, for EV school buses, right, and chargers. Is this year's about education and educating not only us, right, with our transportation study, the fleet study that we've done, and but really educating our community as well too. So we think take advantage of some opportunities. Right now we have scheduled for an electric bus to be on campus for the elementary open house on October 10th. That will be part of their flyer. Come see it. They're going to give small rides, 10, 15-minute rides, so they can see what it's like to be on one. It looks just like a big yellow school bus, right? Just quiet. So they'll offer rides for that. Still haven't confirmed for the middle school and high school September 26th open house, but if we can do that, we'll have that there as well too. Just as about availability of them.
Yeah, who's providing that?
Working through Leonard buses right now.
Over in deposit?
Yeah, yep, is provided.
He has one?
Yep. And I know that they've talked with some schools that already currently had them in fleet where we might borrow one of their schools. Like, Deposit has one, Johnson City has one, so maybe perhaps buying one of those for those nights too. So we're excited to just start to educate, right? And just see, look, plan, think, let people ask questions. Because if you remember when we talked about this last spring, we talked about potentially having an electric bus on the proposition for May, right? 1 or 2 electric buses, depending on funding, depending on where we're at with that. But that was a goal almost a year ago, is to have one for this May on a separate proposition line, right, for the budget. So we're working on that. Next month, we will have the external audit. Courtney Pearsall will be here from Dark Angels to present the external audit. If you remember a year ago, Mrs. Warner and I wanted to align the reserve plan with the external audit. So right now, Mr. Warner's done a really good job of getting that reserve plan where we're up to snuff. I will share that probably in the next week at the update on the recommendations of what we'll do with some of the surplus for what reserves. And then if you remember, we took the reserves and put them into CDs last year. So I'll talk about the interest earned that we did for the 3-month CD and the 6-month CD. So I'll share that, the reserve plan. I'll share all of it publicly, but I'll give it to you ahead of time, a few weeks ahead of time. And then what our recommendations are for investment with the CDs for next year with it. Oh, I'm sorry, this year with it, November with it. And then again, we'll present that reserve plan at the October meeting after the external audit. Okay. And I think that is my list. Okay, questions?
Okay, thank you. All right, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the minutes from the regular Board of Education meeting held on August 13th, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the personnel consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I just want to take a moment and make note that effective today, Marissa Orzoli has resigned from the Board of Education. So we've acknowledged her letter. You all got a copy of it in your email today. And just a couple points, as I said, we have some decisions to make as far as how we move forward with this. So at the next board meeting, we'll have a discussion about, replacing, which because of how much time is left in the year, we likely should, but we can discuss that. And the process that we'll use to do it. Even did speak with our attorney today, and we had some guidelines, and he'll provide more in a future update, but we'll discuss that more at the October meeting
When was her term set to expire?
next year.
June 30th, 2026.
So whoever comes on
Go
would
for-
start officially after the May meeting,
We go till then.
and then would have to run again.
So yeah, you can appoint between now and May, then they would have to rerun again.
Yeah.
And then they would run in May for the rest of that term.
Oh, and
The
then,
term doesn't
And then-
reset,
and then they would have to run again
Yes.
a year later.
Yeah.
Yes.
because it doesn't reset.
Get a lot of petitions for 2 years.
We'll put out, we've been, I think for some of you, we've been through this before, and it's, we'll put out information, let people know how to let us know they're interested, and, we'll cast a net and see. But just want to, thank Marissa for her time on the board. She served for about 9 years and served on a number of committees and attended a lot of educational conferences throughout the years. So just want to thank her. I know we all know how much time it takes to serve on a board. So just want to respect her decision about her personal and professional things that she wants to focus on. So, cool. Any questions? Okay. All right. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to conduct the required review and take action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act as presented for the Smart Schools Bond Act.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, sorry. Questions?
I was just going to say, you're going to see this action item and the next action item. This one is for, sorry, not the next one, but C. These are for the 25-26 school year, but we have to do it ahead of time for submissions for state ed. So this is for the displays in the PA system in the elementary school, like what we're doing currently in the high school. But because of the amount of time it takes to get approved, so again, this is the seeker for the install for the displays in the elementary and middle school during the 25-26 school year.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to conduct the required review and take action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act as presented for the Capital Outlay Project 2024-25 school year.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve the contract between Sidney Central School District and Highland Associates Architecture Engineering Design PC for the 2025-2026 Capital Outlay Project.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
This goes around, so we're actually going to do, again, try to leverage 3 different pots of money, if you will, for that project alone. We'll use the remaining Smart Schools Bond Money Act, which is the $93,000. We'll use the Capital Outlay Project. That's what you're proving right now is Highland Associates architectural contract for the 25-26, not this year, 25-26 contract, so that we can build that into the Smart Schools piece, right? We'll use the Capital Outlay, right, the 100K project, and then there's another pot of money that is designated for New York State capital project that's built into the budget that we'll use. So those 3 funding sources, right, will adequately fund the entire changeover for the PA system and all the displays in all the classrooms. Again, we just don't want to leave any money on the Smart Schools on the table, right? So we'll maximize that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Board member comments.
The walkthrough was beautiful. I mean, the facilities look amazing. You're absolutely right. The effort and detail, and it looks amazing. First week or so of school was a hit at our house. I don't know about everyone else's, but really exciting and just loving being back at school. So the environment seems to be really great, and students are really excited. So
And I just want to thank again for having me at opening day. I said it to the staff and teachers that were there that day, but it's my two favorite days are graduation day and opening day. There's just so much excitement and buzz, and I love standing in the hall and being, hi, good morning, good morning. It's probably a little much for them at 8 a.m. But actually they have a lot of energy too, but everybody's just super welcoming and happy to be here. And I love being able to hear the speeches from the teachers of the years and be there for all of the acknowledgements. And the number of people who got up there for 25-year awards was amazing. Like, we have so much talent that has been here for such a long time, but it's also great to see the new staff that are excited to join us. So thank you for having me, and happy to be a part of it.
You have a fifth grade book day too.
Oh, I do love fifth grade. Oh, sixth grade.
Sixth
All right.
There's a lot of
Oh, I
sixth
love
grade.
reading.
Sixth
Well, I
grade.
loved reading last year to the little ones, but I also love sixth grade. Okay, fine.
And I just tell you, the SEL kids, right? Watching the kids with their Sidney CSD has been really, really cool. Yeah.
People are really.
Slowly been stealing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have a Sabres keychain.
Yeah.
I said, you have a
I
card,
have
do you want the
blanket.
keychain? She's like, oh, I think I want the clip thing. I'm like, perfect.
So it's really cool. I mean, that's been really neat to watch too.
The community seems to really be excited about it too. It's really wonderful.
That's a great way to get back to all kids.
Yeah, that was
Great way to get
awesome.
back to all kids.
That's great.
We might want to reshare the link to the Sabres store too. Somebody asked me for it and I knew it was in an old Facebook post, so I was able to find it and reshare it, but now that it's sports season, I don't know if each sports team is doing it, but I was able to find it and from a while ago, but just in case.
So if you remember, there was a QR code when we did the reveal from Schubert's that we can share back out.
I've had people ask me, how do I buy stuff? And
Even on the website.
Doesn't say it's
well,
possible.
I thought so. I don't know.
Yep.
Overachiever, helping find people. To be a responsive board member. All right, any other comments? All right, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, and see you on October 8th.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like a,
Oh.